So it's good to be back in the studio. Now, where have I been? Well, a lot of things has happened. A lot of things have happened in my life since August 2019. And that is, I got divorced in July 2019. Then in August 2019, my business partner of almost 7 years took all of my best producing salespeople and went down the street, opened up a new company with a website that looked pretty much like mine, same color, same design, same everything, took my staff and started a competing company. And then in 2020, or shortly after that, rather, I had a pulmonary embolism. So I spent almost 2 weeks in the hospital, in the ICU with pulmonary embolism. And then that took about a year to recover. And then 2020, during COVID, when the world was falling apart, finally got approved after waiting 5 years for the CDC to approve this experimental treatment. I got to fly to Atlanta, Georgia, have my blood genetically modified, which cured me of 5 strains of Lyme disease and Babesia and a type of malaria. So 2020 was a hard year for me, not just because of COVID, but because of just recovering from the pulmonary embolism and then Lyme disease, Babesia, and mycoplasma. And then right around August 2021, I was fully recovered from Lyme disease, from the pulmonary embolism. Life was going good. I bought my farm in Idaho. And guys, I started having PTSD moments. You know, I've had PTSD now pretty much my whole life. Maybe it started when I was 5 years old and my mom forgot to shut the passenger side of the F-150 and then put me in through the driver's side after going into the grocery store, put me in on the driver's side. So she opened the passenger side to let me out, but never shut the door fully. Then put me in on the driving side and was driving down the road, went around a corner, door flew open, and out I went flying. And as you can imagine, at 30, 40 miles an hour, I didn't break any bones, but I ripped all the skin off of my face, my hands, my arms, my legs. That could have been the first PTSD. Or it could have been when I was 11 or 12 months old and my mom left me alone and I crawled out of the crib, climbed up into the sink, turned on the water to get a drink of water because I was thirsty and mom was not there. But what I didn't know as a baby is my dad had removed the regulator to the water heater because he didn't want to have to boil his water when it came out of the sink and put it on the stove like a normal human being. He wanted to be able to take it out of the sink boiling and put his potatoes in it because, after all, I'm from Idaho, you know, where the potatoes are made. So as you can imagine, I got up in the sink, turned on the water. Next thing you know, I have no skin left on my left leg from my knee down. I spent the next 6 months laying in a burn center as nurses scraped the rotting flesh off of my leg in an attempt to save it. That's probably when the PTSD started. And then it just got worse over time. So in August 2021, I started having episodes. I used to have like 1 episode a year. Not bad. I had it pretty much under control. But in August 2021, I started having 10 to 15 episodes a day. So I reached out to my friend, Larry Yatch. And Larry had been, for the last 5 years, had been helping veterans cure their PTSD with treatment, whether it was mushrooms or Molly or ketamine or LSD, depending on what you muscle tested for. He was able to take your PTSD of life and instead of doing 40, 50 years of counseling in a 3 to 4 day period, completely wipe it out. And he'd been trying to get me to do this with him for years. I'm like, look, dude, I'm fine, right? I couldn't take it anymore. So I called them up like, I need to get in. So in August 2021, I just bought my farm in Idaho. Life was going good. And other than the PTSD, so I went out to Salt Lake, went to Park City, actually, and went through the treatment. Took the psilocybin. I know I can't say that. I have a twisted tongue. I don't know if or tied tongue, rather. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, a tied tongue, where there are certain words that I just cannot pronounce. My sister's tied tongue was so bad, she actually went and had surgery, and they cut the bottom of your tongue, and then you can say certain words. But there's certain words I can't say. So psilocybin or whatever it is, but it's mushrooms. So I took that, and for the next 3 days, Larry helped me through my effort as well to reprogram my self-conscious, reprogram my mind, created a new program, a new operating system for me to operate on. And in 3 days, almost my lifetime of PTSD was gone. If you never done this type of therapy and you have PTSD from whatever type of trauma, maybe a car accident, abuse as a child, abuse as an adult, military, police, fire, I recommend that you talk to a professional, somebody that specializes in doing this type of therapy, because it made a big difference in my life.